right, welcome everybody to the Town of Waterboro Planning Board meeting for October 15th, 2025. Angela, can we start with roll call?
Rick Luger.
Here.
Rebecca Higgins.
Here.
Diane Gray.
Here.
Joe Fresco. Here. Stacy Walker is not in attendance this evening.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have the public hearing for the FAAR zone amendment proposal, Stephen Everett. So, Mr. Everett, we'll have you do a little brief overview. I know things have changed since the last meeting due to state law that has passed. So Mr. Everett will give his kind of updated proposal. Michaela's going to do a presentation that will give an overview of the state law changes, and then that will kind of help us lead us into the public hearing where people can speak. We just ask that you come up to the podium, name and address, and keep your comments brief so that we can get through and to everybody tonight. So, Mr. Everett.
Well, good evening. If you attended the last meeting, you probably noticed that I was ambushed up here. I didn't have a lot of support for my proposal. This time I'm hoping it'll be a little different. I decided to not eliminate a zone, just change the density criteria and setback requirements for the F&A zone. To me, it's pretty restrictive, and there should be possibly some people that I've invited to come and speak on my behalf, although I don't see anybody yet, but somebody's on their way. And all I'm really trying to do is make people, or give the opportunity to people that live and have lived in these areas, an opportunity to be a little bit more flexible and to possibly earn a little more income from their land. My proposal is to reduce the lot size from 5 acres to 120,000 square feet, which is 3 acres, more or less. So the lot sizes could be cut in half. I propose that the side and front setbacks reflect the A&R zone, which is a 75-foot front setback and a 35-foot side setback, where currently it's 100 feet in the front and 50 feet on the sides. This is just to give a little more flexibility. Trying to fit a buildable structure on some of these lots is very challenging because of those setbacks. And for those of you who are going to speak, I would really like to hear the negative, because I'm not seeing it. I look at the town of Leamington or Limerick, and 3/4 of that town has a minimum lot size of 1.5 acres, and that to me is still considered a pretty rural town. So there's got to be something else going on here that I'm not quite understanding. So if you could address the downside of this, and reading through this info package, they keep bringing up, well, does it follow the comprehensive plan? Well, the comprehensive plan has not been updated for a long time, 10 years, and I think it needs to be, doesn't it, Michaela? Every 10 years?
It should be updated about every 10 years.
Yeah, and I know that that's a long process. So this is kind of just something that I thought would be relatively easy to do, to give the residents that live in the F&A zone a little more freedom to subdivide. Now, the LD 1829, and I don't know all of the details, but that's being mandated by the state of Maine. I don't believe that addresses lot size. It just talks about legal lots and how many ADUs you can put on a legal lot. This addresses lot size and where you can place a structure on that lot. So that's my presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. So, we'll just start with some of the basics in case anyone wasn't able to join for the last one. This proposal, as Steve said, is to amend some dimensional standards in the forest and agriculture zone. It does not propose any changes in use. So the prohibited uses remain the same, the allowed uses remain the same, but the proposal does, as Steve said, reduce the minimum lot size from 5 acres to 120,000 square feet, and then reduce the front side setbacks and the front, the road frontage requirement. And if you want to find this language for yourself, you can look in the Town of Waterboro zoning ordinance. Article 1, the introduction, explains the amendment process. And then Article 3 is where the zoning districts are. And you can look at the summary of the dimensional regulations and also the forest and agriculture districts regulations if you want to look into that yourself. Next. Okay, so this is, on the left is the existing zoning map for the Town of Waterboro, so it's what you currently have. The lime green is the forest and agriculture district. So on the right, it's just showing that the only changes in this amendment would affect the forest and agriculture district. And it would just, again, be some changes to the regulation, but not wholesale. So this is a different proposal than what was brought before the board previously. Next. Okay, so this is the existing dimensional regulations. The forest and agriculture section is highlighted in green there. It's a little bit faint, but next. Those 4 are the proposed changes. So the minimum lot size, the road frontage, the setbacks for the front and side and rear. Next. And those are the proposed changes. So you'll see it. The forest and agriculture zone would remain larger than the agriculture and residential zone for minimum lot size, but have the same setbacks and road frontage. Next. Okay, so this is just getting into a bit of the process for zone amendments. So per the ordinance, the applicant, Steve, had to present the amendment to the town council, and they forwarded it to the planning board. He appeared before the planning board, and then we scheduled this public hearing. So today we're hosting this public hearing, and then we'll have the floor open for public comments in a little bit. And then following that, the planning board votes on a recommendation to the town council. The planning board themselves does not approve or not approve this. They just give a recommendation, and then the town council will hold a public hearing and vote on the proposed amendment. Next. So
Who votes, the town council or we?
The town council. So typically, when we're evaluating zone amendments, the way we go about this is we update a comprehensive plan, because that's the community's vision for what you want, and then we update the land use ordinances to reflect that vision in the comprehensive plan. So the question we have to ask whenever we make an ordinance amendment or update is, does the proposed amendment align with the comprehensive plan? And the answer has to be yes in order for that amendment to go forward. Things to know, and as Steve alluded to, this comp plan is 10 years old. It was last updated in 2015, and updating it is something the town's starting to talk about needing to do. So we do know that it's an older plan. And most relevant to looking at ordinance changes for a comprehensive plan are their future land use chapter, and for this also the open spaces and natural resource chapters, if you want to look into that yourself. Next. So, in your future land use section of your comprehensive plan, it kind of talks about Waterboro in different sections. So it talks about North Waterboro as being a more rural area that should focus on natural resources and farmland. And it asks the question, should zoning district requirements and/or boundaries be changed to better address certain natural and human-made resources? Next. And it points out that the section of Waterboro has the largest vacant tracts of both private and public land use in the town. And that this area of town really needs to think about what your destiny is in terms of interest in where and how rural characteristics can be maintained while preserving or introducing light commercial and agrarian uses. So these are some of the things that are in your existing comprehensive plan. Next. And this talks about open space and what ruralness means to Waterboro. And it recommends that the planning board and planning department look at the use of cluster zoning and compact mixed-use zoning as a conservation technique. Next. Okay, so that's kind of the proposal and the comp plan and how that all relates together. Now we're going to get into a little bit of new state legislation, LD 1829, that was passed in June, and what it means for Waterboro. And today we're specifically going to talk about what it means for the F&A zone. There are other impacts that it has for other zones, and some of the impacts are quite different for different zones. But because the F&A zone is a more rural zone, there's less impacts to it from this bill than some of your other zones. But for right now, we'll focus on this one. So overall, this legislation basically overrides municipal land use authority. It prescribes certain things that zones have to do, certain dimensional requirements, and certain residential uses that zones have to have in municipalities. So the main things that impact the forest and agriculture zone are that every legal lot has to allow 3 residential units per the lot. So LD 2003, you might remember from a few years ago, changed and prescribed 2 units per lot. And now LD 1829, it's 3 units per lot for the F&A zone because it is a non-growth area. Another thing that it changed is this law specifies that you cannot require additional dimensional requirements for multifamily residential as compared to single-family residential. So, for example, if your current ordinance says you need 100 feet for road frontage for a single-family home, before this law, you could require 100 square feet of road frontage per every unit that you add to a buildable lot. So if you had 3 units on the buildable lot, you could require 3 times the road frontage or 300 feet. But now you cannot do that. So if your road frontage is 100 feet, or in this case, the F&A zone is 200 feet right now, then it will stay 200 feet, even if you put a triplex, which could be a 3-unit, on a lot. So that's one major change, and that change will be true throughout every zone. And then the third major bucket for the F&A zone is about accessory dwelling units. In the previous law, you had to allow them everywhere, so they're already allowed in the F&A zone, but this law specifies that they're not limited to single-family homes only, so if there's a duplex or townhomes on a lot, they are also allowed to have an ADU. It also says that you cannot require an owner to live either on or either in the ADU or the primary dwelling. So the owner doesn't have to live on the property itself for it to be an ADU, which is different than in the past. Next. Okay, so that was kind of like the broader overview, and then this slide just has a few more details, so about each of those 3 facets of change. So yeah, the first 3 units per lot, so in the current F and A zone, that would be about 1 unit per 1.6 acres. If every property owner chose to allow up to 3 units per lot, but again, they don't have to, it's up to the property owner. About the second set of requirements, about the additional dimensional requirements, yeah, I guess I went over that already, that example, so we're good there. And then for accessory dwelling units, they can be attached or detached to a multifamily unit. And again, you cannot require the owner to live on the property. So those are the 3 major buckets for impacts to this zone from that law. Next, I think that's it?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So those are the major changes, and I'm happy to speak more about the legislative stuff. But overall, it doesn't impact the F and A zone too much compared to, at least in terms of comparing it to how LD 2003 already kind of changed what can be allowed or not.
Can you ask for a clarification?
Sure.
When you say dimensional requirements, does that also include setback?
Yes,
Mr. Everett's talking about total face as well as setback.
yes, yeah.
So under LD 1829, the setback requirements for 3 units going on a previously 2-unit property remain the same.
Yes, yeah, so you couldn't require 3 times as much front setback for a 3-unit as you
Okay.
could for a single family. Yeah.
Can I ask for another point of clarification?
Sure.
When you say 3 units per lot, what constitutes a unit? Are we talking about 3 dwelling units in one building? Are we talking about 3 separate buildings?
Either or, so just a distinct area for living, you like kitchen, living room, bedroom is usually the bare minimum for a dwelling unit, so whether that's attached, detached, separate,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Did it just come up or just tell you?
I just need to know who, yeah. Bill.
You just get these.
Mark Salati, 480 Secocas.
David Bedreezy?
Thank you. If we could just, anybody further.
Yeah,
we'll come
I'm
on.
going.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So, Mr. Salati, now that I know you're here, would you like me to read your email out loud, or are you going,
I'd prefer to speak if I can.
that's perfect.
I like to talk.
Would you like to go ahead? or-
If you want me up
Yeah,
there,
no,
yeah.
they-
Do you wanna open the, you have to,
Oh, I thought it was already open.
Ooh.
I thought I opened it.
I don't think
Oh, okay.
because we had him and then me.
Oh, okay, so now it's open to
Yeah.
the public, okay. Now you can. Formality.
Thank you. Firstly, I'm sorry Mr. Everett felt ambushed. And in talking about, he wasn't sure about downsides. I heard a lot of downsides explained in the last meeting, and that was my takeaway. With 1829 coming in, and just to kind of summarize my email to the council, I kind of feel like this is putting the cart before the horse. We've got a lot of zoning changes that affect any place where, if I'm clear, any lot that allows residential is effectively covered under 1829.
Yes.
Yeah, every one of them. Yeah, so it's not just F&A, it's not A&R, it's village, it's pretty much everybody. So I kind of feel like, and probably regrettably from Mr. Everett's point of view, to consider this right now is sort of a little bit illogical. I know we've talked about 1829, but it might be useful for us to understand the timeline, because when I read through it, I couldn't quite understand if it had to be done by 26 or 27. So you can pick that one out after if you want. I don't necessarily have as much strength and feeling around this one that I had about the further one. There's no changes to usage, which I think is helpful. I think it probably just bears repeating in the minutes that a lot of us bought those properties because we want the rural character. And by allowing even this change to it, it will change the rural character. Having said that, we are all now subject to the law called Bill 1829. That's all. Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? Come up to the podium, please.
Teresa Lowell, I live on Middle Road. I was at the prior meeting, and I have to tell you, this room was overflowing. Seats were taken, people were standing, and everyone that evening spoke that they were adamant that the minimum lot size should not be reduced, and provided a diversity of reasons as to why. I would like to request the record of this hearing reiterate those public comments to retain the current zoning parameters and include them as part of tonight's record. The introductory page of tonight's meeting provides rationale to uphold the minimum requirement of 5 acres and with the recommendations of our planning staff. The town comprehensive plan future land use defines the vision and value of this land in question. Decreasing lot size will only exacerbate rural sprawl, and we need to target this growth to village areas. Growth is better planned in close proximity to schools, town services as fire department and rescue, public water supply in certain areas of town, and focused transportation of development along primary, secondary, and state aid roads. Our ordinance states these are lacking in the FA zone. The FA zone definition provides additional rationale for a 5-acre minimum. The topography, soils, slope, and surface water within the zone limits the location of a building envelope. To further reduce the minimum lot size to 3 acres will only restrict property owners of 3 acres, their desired building site, location for well and wastewater. It's already a challenge on some lots to have a suitable building site because of the topography and such. Just because a piece of property is for sale is not a promise of desired land use, and buyers need to be aware of that. The North Waterboro FA zone is a transitional zone, a buffer to our largest conservation zone, which has a 10-acre minimum, largely surrounded by Middle Road, Ossipee Hill, Ross Corner, Clark's Bridge, and Bagley Roads, preserving habitat for wildlife, vernal ponds and pools, and limited land use. Any reduction of lot size and property setbacks decreases property value of myself and others in the affected area. This could prompt requests for property tax adjustment. A reduction of minimum lot size will amplify development density within our rural areas, as previously mentioned, increasing the rural sprawl. This will in turn raise costs of public services, fire, rescue, public works, which is road maintenance, snow removal, waste services, and school funding. I'm not opposed to the reduction of the road and shoreland frontage from 200 feet to 150 feet, the opinion of the Waterboro planning staff. I agree with their recommendation not to support the other 3 requests. The reduction of lot size, front road setback, north side and rear setbacks. I encourage the planning board to follow the recommendation of the Waterboro planning staff and consider all public comments tonight, as well as those from June 18th. The residents that spoke on June 18th were adamant they do not want this zoning change. And furthermore, with the passage of LD 1829, that is the downside. Thank you.
Anybody else?
A couple of questions, thank you. Wanted to DeMaio, 226 East Shore Road. Couple clarifications. Right now, the FA is a 5-acre zone, correct? In the reduction size to a 3-acre, would it still be considered a FA, or would it be turned into a residential? Being
So-
a 3A. So right now, you have a 5-acre, and you're allowed to put 3 units on it, correct? With the new.
Yes, with the new, you would be able to put
Okay,
three,
and
yes.
if it was reduced to a 3-acre,
Mhm.
is that 3 acres still considered FA, or does that go into a residential? So in other words, if they reduced it to 3 acres, would they still be able to put the 3 units on that?
Yes,
So we're not changing the clarification of the FA zone, we're just reducing the size of it.
yeah.
So would an alternative be to change, if they decided to change the FA, the minimum of 5 acres, like that portion that you were discussing, I'm not that familiar with the area, but looking at the plot, the section that we were talking about was with the wildlife and everything, and that's, you can pretty much look at the plan, you can see that's all farming, it hasn't been developed at all. Could that stay FA, and then the other FA be reduced to 3 acres and change it from FA zoning to AR zoning?
So,
2 acres, isn't it?
so you could create a new zone
Mm-hmm.
that is basically some regulations from A&R and some regulations from FA and define a new area. That is something you can do. And then leave other parts of FA exactly as they are. That is one strategy.
The reason I bring it up is because when you had the drawing up there of the zoning map,
Yeah,
so the one to the right, you can see where the proposed changes are on both sides.
yeah.
So this side here, there's been hardly any development at all, and I agree. But on this side here, if you really look at what's been developed in here, and you look at these lot sizes, a lot of these lots are less than 5 acres already. So what are we really proposing to change on this side? I think there's a minimum amount. Whereas if you were able to break it in two, you would be able to say, this stays FA, and this will create a new zoning of a 3-acre lots.
Just,
Yeah.
you have the ability to bring the map back up.
I think that's one of the reasons why I brought up the comp planning process in the first place, is because I think there is room for different ideas like this,
Yeah.
but the process should be that occurs over like a 1.5 year long process where we have meetings that really deep dive into those options with the residents, and so then we can figure out the direction to take the
Right.
ordinance. I think it's hard to do the more creative solutions like you're saying in a one-off ordinance amendment.
Yeah.
Without the full process before it.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just bring the map back up so you can just kind of show what we were.
Yeah.
Sure. So if we're looking at this map, you're talking
Yeah,
about...
so as I was saying, if
this.
you look to the right, where it says, the top right
Yeah.
corner, it says proposed changes. And if you look on the left, you can see that it really hasn't been developed that
Sure.
much. It's a lot of vacant land. But on the left side, if you look at all those lines, those are all individual lots.
Right.
And I'm surmising, I could be wrong, but I would have to say that probably 2/3 of those are under the 5 acres. They've already been,
It's a bit deceptive. I can tell you, I have a Flex Ridge Road. I can't reach that high, but there's a kind of, they look kind of small, but mine's 11 acres.
okay,
Yeah, so I think that's, I'm sure it happens.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
maybe-
you're on the left-hand side though.
Yeah, left-hand
Correct,
side.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
so-
think where you're talking about, that's Chevron Ridge Road, right? Am I correct? Up
Yes,
on the,
top right.
the top right. So that's Chaparral Ridge Road kind of area, past Arrowhead, out through there is kind of what we're talking about, this section of the map up there.
Yeah, exactly. And now, that brings up a good example of Chapman Ridge
Right.
Road.
Yep.
That goes from AR to FA within one lot. Because I just purchased a lot up there
Yeah.
on Chapman Ridge, and it's a 2-acre lot.
Mhm.
Everything behind me is all 5 acres. So that's where I'm saying, if you look along that stretch, you'll see that a lot of those lots are AR zoning. So maybe there's a compromise that you could come up with on that side, not the right side, but on that side, and say that maybe we can come up with doing a 3-acre lot. And as she said, recategorizing it into a new zoning area. Just food for thought.
Yep,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Can I make a point?
Sure.
Everything on the.
Can you just come up to the podium,
Oh,
please?
I'm sorry. I was just going to kind of point to the area.
Okay,
Everything that's on this side,
yep,
in the lime green, is 5-acre zoning.
Correct.
Regardless of what it looks like,
correct,
it's a 5-acre zone.
Correct.
correct.
Oh, I just want to make sure that.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is a lot of those lots, looking at that drawing, they're smaller than 5 acres. Like if we.
It's not in the lime green.
No,
Lime green.
So where it says
That's not-
Shapley, and it has all those individual lot lines there, those are larger than 5 acres?
They're just 200-foot minimum road frontage
Okay, yeah.
and long.
So it is deceiving then, it just seems.
It is,
Yeah,
it's,
okay,
Waterboro's a big town, it's a big map,
yeah.
it's small.
respond to that?
Where is that, all to the left of West Road, that, all those?
If it's in AR, it's gotta be 5 acres, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, West Road runs up just to the bottom of that lake. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all 5 acres.
Those are all 5 acres there.
mhm.
I was just looking on the parcel map.
Okay, so it is deceiving.
So,
Yeah.
where is that? Is that somewhere down Blueberry?
No, Lake Shore.
No, it's Lake Sherburne. That's West Road right before Ross Corner. Or Ross Corner's just on the edge of the map right there. Yeah.
Oh.
Right, so there's a lot of lots that are well over the 5 acres.
Yes,
So that means that if you're reducing it,
you gotta come to the mic.
If you could
you've
come to
got
the,
to.
Trying to figure out where I'm at.
So this clarifies things, that there are a lot of these lots are well over the 5 acres. Right, so now if you're gonna reduce to 3 acres approximately, you're allowing a lot of subdivision. It's not just every lot is 5 acres, so they can't really change. Right?
well, I think when you get into subdivision, you've got a whole nother.
I mean, you're allowing a 3 acres, so now if someone has a lot that's 6 acres, they could split that in half.
Correct,
If it changes.
correct.
Right.
If this change were to be.
If this change were to be,
Yes.
and if they had 9 acres, they could make 3 lots. There's a lot of big lots there.
Mhm.
So we're talking about a major change again.
You
This
still
isn't
have to
just a-
have, you still have to have the frontage though, correct?
Correct, yes.
But the frontage now, when 1820, it's double jeopardy here.
Yes.
Because you go from
Right.
Yes.
9 to 3 times 3 on the same road frontage, and those 3 can now have 3.
Correct.
Correct.
It's
Yeah, but
double
those
jeopardy.
are,
Triple jeopardy.
if I understand it correctly, it's 3 units on one lot, they can't be sold off individually.
Yes, they can.
They
No,
can.
they can.
They can be
I didn't think they could.
condoized.
They can be condoized,
They can be
yeah.
condoized. They,
So what is your name?
But if you allow this change that Mr. Everett is proposing.
I don't allow any change.
Yeah.
I'm just a staff.
Yeah.
That's the reason, if you come up with the new zoning, you don't have to worry about the 3 units being built on it. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you have a 5 acre lot.
No, what I'm saying is,
No.
I'm agreeing with your eloquent speak there, that nobody wanted it to change.
No, not even before LD
No.
1829, and this LD 1829.
This is just another way around for you to get more business.
Well, some people do. supposedly.
Sir.
Okay, I think,
I don't see that. I look at it as though if you have a 5 acre lot, now you can put 3 units on it. Where if
Well,
you,
no, I'm not talking about the LD, I'm talking about your proposal to lower it to 3 acres.
yes, I see what you're saying there.
A lot of those lots are a lot bigger than, as you see now.
Correct.
Bigger, so that means
Correct.
there could be quite a few new lots, correct?
There will be more lots,
Right.
absolutely.
Lot of
But
work
how
for a
many
surveyor.
and how much? I'm not looking for more work at this time in my career.
So what is your point in
My
just
point is, I've
making
surveyed,
us disrupting the way that we're living here?
well, I don't see it that way.
Obviously you don't, but
What,
all the
I've done a
people-
lot of surveying on Middle Road, on Chadbourne's Ridge Road, and a lot of the people that I talk to, they don't understand.
Where's your
some-
petition? How many names do you have?
I have not.
How many signatures do you have of Waterboro residents
I have
that
not,
want this change?
I have not gone that route yet. That's why I wanted to create a referendum, just to put it out to vote. And
Well,
that would be,
that's the problem, this isn't coming out to vote then. It's not coming out to a public vote?
not at this time.
No, ever, it won't ever. You just said, when I asked before, you said the town council votes. You said the citizens don't vote.
Yes, but they're gonna listen to what the townspeople are saying here and the prior public hearing. All of this is getting recorded, and I agree with what you're saying. One thing real quick, we need your name, sir.
Richard Basile.
Thank you. Dwayne, can you, since you're here, can you just speak to the next step? So after the recommendation, you guys would hold your public hearing.
Correct.
Chances are, it's going to go to referendum if you guys move it that direction.
And the board has the right to change the zoning under the new charter. But they also have the right to put anything that they feel is a major change
West Road.
to
Is that where
the
you are?
referendum. So it's up to the 5-member board to decide whether they want this to be voted on or to go to a referendum.
Downtown.
Myself, I don't want to make the choice of 9,000 people.
Right.
I would rather send it to referendum, but I'm only one vote. And I would push, believe me, to send it to referendum so that everybody has got the right to say on it. But I'm only one vote. So I can't, tonight I can't tell you because we haven't brought it up. It was sent to us and we sent it to the planning board to hold this public hearing and to work on it. And then it will, after they get done, they'll send it back to us. We'll have a public hearing and then decide how we're going to handle it. So, I mean, if it got done, it could go to vote in June.
So how many people have to say they don't like this idea for you just to squash it right now? That's what happened last time, the last meeting.
Yeah,
So I think the earlier question that I asked about when does LD 1829 come into effect is really prescient at the moment, because it seems like the choice we're talking about is 3 units on 5 acres or 3 units on 3 acres.
It comes into effect for you all since you changed your charter, July of 2026. So sooner
It
than,
has to be implemented
Yes.
by July
yeah.
26th. Okay.
on July 26th.
I'm sorry?
On July
Yes,
26th.
yes.
I
That's
mean,
promulgated.
yeah, council could
8
move it
months.
ahead, but no, that won't happen.
No, I appreciate it, it's a
I-
very complex thing. Hurry up.
Yeah, because one, they ain't gonna push it ahead until we see what goes on
Yeah,
here,
that-
so,
obviously.
you know.
But that's putting the LD, putting the 3 units. That isn't 3 units that can be sold.
Correct, so,
That's not 3 separate units per se.
well, correct and not correct. So the minimum lot size has to be maintained. So if it's a 5-acre lot in the F and A zone, they can put 3 units on it, but they cannot divide those
They
into to 3 separate lots. However, they can condoize the units, so there can be 3 owners of the 3 residential units, but jointly own the land, or it can be one owner who rents out the other 2 properties. If the lot is bigger than the minimum lot size, then you can divide the land. But then the new lots that met the minimum lot size could each have the 3 units per the lot.
Right.
Or it could be cluster developed.
Yeah.
If you had we'll say you had 60 acres up there in the F and A, you could develop less than 10 acres of that 60 and still end up with all them houses. But it's gonna be in a smaller circle, and you're not gonna build anywhere near the drives or have the entrances coming off a major highway. Good points and bad points in that. I mean, you got more houses, you got less entrances, you haven't got the roads to maintain.
Well, I don't think it's good for us. I
No,
mean, have
no,
you been,
but I mean,
have you been in that one down in Wells on Route 109?
I have,
You want that here?
yeah,
You don't want that here, do you?
no, but that's your turnarounds of it.
So it's a good point you raise as well, and Mr. Everett talks about Leamington. We don't live in Leamington, we live here.
Yeah.
So I don't really care what goes on in Leamington. I care what goes on here. So there's a downside for you.
Well, again, as much as we can do to preserve the rural character,
Yeah.
which would mean not changing.
Anybody else want to speak? Okay.
My name is Tom Smith. I live on Lake Sherburne. I grew up in Arundel, which used to be a small town in the 90s and early 2000s. Now, it's not a small town. And about 10 years ago, me and my wife bought our house in Waterboro, looking to get back to that rural feel. Now, the biggest thing with this is, like last meeting was stated, we're talking about 40% of Waterboro. It's not a small zone, it's 40% of the town. Okay, so it's big. And then we got this new, the state coming in and doing their thing with LD 1829. For the town to scramble to make a zoning change right after the state doing their legislature doesn't make any sense. I don't know if you're trying to get ahead of it, but making lots smaller, I mean, every lot isn't that buildable to begin with. And you're trying to change the setbacks, I mean, it's just, you talk about the comp plan and how that needs to come first. So I think you need to take the time, do the comp plan, get the public's opinion, which the second meeting, where it seems like most people here are against zoning changes. And I know change, it's gonna happen. There's already a lot of building going on in Waterboro, in every neighboring town. The school district is already pretty stressed at the moment. High school, how many portables do we have at the high school? 3? 4? 4. So I think before, and I know Limerick last year changed, they did a lot of zoning changes. Anybody? No? Pretty sure, I thought I heard last meeting somebody say Limerick.
They did change some of their zoning, I don't know what it went to.
Yeah.
They did change, make a
And then I heard
change.
somebody said they had to put a hold on building permits because it was getting out of
I think it was a hold on subdivisions
Control.
at the moment.
Yeah, I think they
subdivisions,
frozen
which,
building permits.
Yeah.
I mean, so obviously they were getting overwhelmed with the amount of building going on in the town. So for Waterboro to try to make zoning changes, I don't think it's a smart move at this time and date, without taking the time to really think about it, get the public's opinion, revisit your comp plan. You say it's 10 years old, you want to come up with a new one. let's see what this LD 1829 does. You know, it's not like there's not gonna be a lot of money or a lot of interest in people building, taking a lot, owning it, sinking a bunch of money into building 3 structures and not being able to sell them at this time. You know, I work in the trades, I'm an electrician, it costs a lot to build a structure. So I don't think we need to worry about a bunch of spec houses going up on lots and people coming in and buying them, because, I mean, that's a lot of overhead to throw up 3 structures, have tenants come in and thinking that you're gonna get your return on investment just from rent. But I guess it could happen. But I think we need to take the time, come up with a new comp plan, really look at the impact on the infrastructure of the town, the school district, and everything else before we start thinking about making lots smaller to allow more building, and especially to such a big zone. I mean, it's just too much. If you wanted to maybe change some of it, I could maybe see a discussion about that, but to take 40% of the town and almost double the amount of available lots, not that they will all be buildable, or that all the acreage is usable, I don't see it being a pro at any point. That's it.
Thank you.
Comment?
Sure.
Yeah. The left side of the F and A zone, some of those lots look terribly small, but they are 80, 100, 120 acres. If there are any undersized lots, they were lots of records that were before zoning came into effect, I believe 1977. So perhaps there is, but the majority of them are not. With LD 1829, now is not the time to be making any zoning changes. And when we revisit the comprehensive plan, maybe it's still what we want and we just ratify what's already there. That's also an option, ratify the existing comprehensive plan. But I do not think now is the time to do any zoning changes.
Just for reference, excuse me, come on this one over here. This little lot right here, this is a 5 3/4 acre lot. This is my lot right here. Okay, that's 5 3/4 acres right there.
So on the scale, it's pretty
It's,
small.
so, yeah, it looks small, but that's almost 6 acres.
Would you like to speak?
Diane Seward from Bagley Road. I agree, you know, it sounds redundant here, but everything has to be looked at as a whole, and this comprehensive plan hasn't been updated. The roads, the infrastructure itself that has to be in effect, or a plan put in place for the infrastructure before you start adding all these places. And I agree, I mean, we own 30 acres up on Bagley Road, but a lot of it's not usable. And that's okay, because our backside is conservation, and personally, we're okay with that. But if you start adding 3, 3, 3, 3, and you've got your school systems, you've got the fire department, you've got the EMS, I mean, the whole thing needs to be looked at as a whole, not just, I want to change the zoning to get 3 acres. And like I said, I'm redundant with what everybody else is saying, but I think that needs to be looked at first.
Thank you. Good. Oh, excuse me.
Yes, my name's Chris Peck, and I own a home out on Middle Road, and I've owned my home out there for over 50 years. I came to Waterboro because of the natural beauty and the open space, and I'm absolutely against any of these proposed changes. There hasn't been a consensus at these meetings for these changes. What about our school system? What about the roads? What about the new state mandates? Honestly, I think it's a very bad time to consider any of this proposal. Thank you.
Are we gonna read those
Yep,
now?
so
Okay.
Mr. Salati, emailed the other day, but decided that he wanted to speak this evening. I can still read the email that he sent the other day for a record, or I can attach it to the minutes.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Just attach it.
Okay. I've received, and I apologize if I butcher the last name, Pat O'Reilly. Okay. Dear Planning Board, as I am unable to attend the meeting this evening on 10/15/25, I want the record to reflect that I am opposed to changing the zone density to 3 acres and reducing the setback requirements for farm and agricultural zone properties. I firmly believe that changing the zone will completely change the rural character and charm of Waterboro. Our town has a history of agricultural and forestry that must be preserved. We do not want cookie-cutter subdivisions and apartment buildings crammed into the hills of Waterboro. Let's be honest, once you allow a massive change such as this in zoning, the floodgates will be open and the rapid, random, and ill-planned development will occur. Let's not become a quote-unquote Sanford, where there's willy-nilly overbuilding, crowded houses and businesses on top of each other, in a once rural area ending up in the designation as a city. While managed growth of the town is important, we must not approve this. Keep the rural flavor of Waterboro. As an owner of property in the F&A zone, I strongly oppose this proposal. Thank you for this opportunity to be heard. Sincerely, Pat O'Reilly, resident. I also have an email from Stephen Poisson. I am not in favor of changing the ordinance. Doug Foglio Sr. said at the last hearing, it's been working for over 50 years, why change it? Thank you.
That was it, Angela, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that being said, we will close the public hearing. Thank you. So next on the agenda is old business, FA/AR zone amendment proposal, Stephen Everett. We've already done that. So we have to make a proposal back to the...
A recommendation.
Recommendation, right, recommendation is the word I was looking for, okay.
Do we need to do that here and now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Just a recommendation.
just a recommendation. Before, our recommendation back to the...
But all 4 of us might be different.
You could,
That's,
So do you want to hear individually?
sure.
or if anybody wants to share or they don't.
I mean, I'll start and say that I recommend that we keep it the way it is. Not to make any changes to.
Right, your personal opinion, I understand that, but we need to make a recommendation whether or not we're moving this back to the
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the select board.
it automatically goes back to the select board.
Right.
We're just saying what we recommend goes back to them, whether we
Right.
approve or deny, or what
Okay.
we
Or
think the select
hold,
board should
or-
do, correct.
Right,
Yeah, you're
So
taking.
what you said is,
Yeah, you're taking a
appropriate.
stance in your recommendation.
right,
So,
that's fine.
You're fine.
Okay.
You can make it a motion.
You could make it a motion, if you wanted to.
Well, I'll listen to the rest of it.
Right.
Right.
I'm trying to guide you a little bit here, but,
I'm just
What do
not
you guys think?
Sure what we.
I'll go next. I don't think it's, my place to be everybody's voice. So I think there's enough people that are against this, so that we should not make a decision at this time.
So,
I don't think we should make a decision. There's not enough
Would you like to make a
information.
motion?
I don't know if I want to make a motion. I think I'm weighing heavily on LD 1829 as well. And I'm listening to the people of the town. We don't know what that's going to be. You said they're still making changes, that they're still battling out certain things. So when it comes to us, it could look different than what we think it is now.
I've seen the draft rulemaking. It is available. It's fairly hard to find, but if you go on the state website, you can find the draft rulemaking for this law. It doesn't change, it doesn't really change anything based on what the bill already says. Like, it didn't change my perception of how it would impact the communities that I work with, so.
Okay, so we can 90% say that this is probably how it's going to be?
Yeah.
You're confident in that?
Yeah, I have heard that there might be a fix-it bill in the next legislation that like tries to amend certain things that the rulemaking can't change, but that they realize they don't think are worded very well in the original bill, but that's even more out of our control, and we won't know for a long time.
So that's another reason. This is just saying, that just echoes what I said.
Yeah.
That there's not, we don't know how we're gonna look. So for me right now, I would be no, not to make the change.
Jill?
That's where I stand as well.
Well, I'll just make it easy and make a motion that the planning board, due to LD, what is it, 1829, due to that, and our lack of up-to-date comprehensive plan, that I make a motion that we recommend this not, that the select board not approve this zoning amendment.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right, thank you.
correction on the word is
Okay.
town council.
Town council, excuse me.
I don't think
Stay
it's
corrected.
different, but
All right, so that takes care of old business. Next, under new business, we have 40 Logan Circle, Lauzier, DeMaio, make it say DeMaio, okay. Ron DeMaio? If you come up to the podium. All right, we've got a proposal for new business. It says?
So I'm looking to, I have a couple of garages on the property right now, looking to add 2 more garages. Behind the existing ones that are there. I already met earlier with the planning board and the fire department, right?
Planning, code, and fire.
Code and fire, and there was some requests that they asked me to make some changes, which I did. The reason I'm before you is because the town has an ordinance that any roofs, any building that's more than 2,500 square feet has to go in front of the planning board. And this building is more than 2,500 square feet, and that's the reason I'm.
There's 2, right?
Correct.
Both, right, okay.
So, I saw it somewhere in here.
Has something changed since your memo? Was it this meeting before?
haven't seen anything updated since the memo. I don't think, you did send a new site plan since,
Yes, I did. I sent a new site plan. It should show, I don't know if that's reflecting it, but it should show, I can tell you.
Is this a new
Is this
site
your
plan for
property or
us?
Jake's property?
It's both, yeah.
So is this where his existing shop is now?
One is mine.
No, this building here.
Correct.
This shop that's there now.
Yes, I own this. He owns this.
Oh, yeah, and then there's a.
This is a breezeway that goes through.
Oh, okay, so, okay, I thought, okay.
Yep.
Where's his racetrack gonna go?
It's gone. That's the new racetrack.
I know, Jake.
Yeah, that's the new racetrack. It's gone.
Yeah.
So I believe this is the updated one. Does that, I can't see without my glasses, but does it say?
October 1?
Yeah, this is the updated.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Fine print.
But I believe it is. That's the update, yeah, that's the
This is the
updated.
updated one. from
Yeah,
the
I
With the
did
changes
see
that
that.
they requested.
Okay.
Yes, I did see that. Can I say a couple things?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yes, he made all the changes we talked about, the staff review committee. I think they look great. No concerns with the things that we had talked about there. Notice that the applicant requests a waiver for the standard about lighting, and then also a waiver for the submission requirement to provide the location, direction, and type of outdoor lighting. And when I was looking at the site plan again, and the application, you describe the type of lighting you'll use as residential exterior lights downcast, which is great. That's the type of lighting we want to see because it's not casting outward and being a nuisance. So my opinion is that with that statement and an example of that kind of lighting that you plan to use, that you'll likely meet that review standard, and so you don't need a waiver for it. And then if you provide that example and then a couple of a couple of photos, but also just a couple of points on your site plan showing where the outdoor lights will likely be.
It's basically going to replicate the building that's existing, so I can make a note that the lighting is going to be basically the same as what's there.
Yeah.
And send pictures all along, so.
So both waivers are for lighting?
Yes, so both waivers are for lighting. One is for the standard and one is for the submission. And I'm saying, I think if the submission is an example of the type of lighting used, it would meet the standard, given the description of the lighting that the applicant provided in the application. So I don't think the waivers are necessary, because I think if he provides those materials, then it would meet the standards. But I just think it would be best to see those.
So postpone our decision until we see that?
Yeah. Just because I know there's not close development now, but it would prevent a problem where, an adjacent property owner builds on their property and you're not using downcast lights in the future, then we don't have that issue in the future.
So just add to my package, the submittal pictures and basically a paragraph saying that I'm going to use the identical lighting.
Yeah, and if you could show on your site plan.
Where they're going to be.
Yeah.
Yep, not a problem.
Yeah.
So I think I need a motion, right?
So we can't approve it and make it a condition? We need to?
No, because we can't prove that we find the standard met without seeing
Okay,
that
yep, that's fine.
information. But that was my only consideration. I thought the rest of it looked good.
Can I get a motion to postpone?
I'll make a motion to postpone, unfortunately, because we need to see lighting.
That's fine. No problem.
You second?
Second.
Jill second. Okay. All those in favor? Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, next is minutes of previous meetings, which we do not have. Under communication, email from Mark Seldaki regarding, but we already read that.
Yeah.
Good, right? Anything else under communications? Nope.
Actually, I want to add, because after I did this, there's a couple of emails that I sent out regarding a couple of workshops that are upcoming. If anybody's interested, let me know. I can sign you guys up. Two of them are webinars.
Okay, I'll double check.
I can re-forward them.
Are you talking about our legislative webinar?
I believe one of them was the legislature.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think one of them's housing, one of them's legislature.
Housing was yesterday,
Okay.
but it's recorded and we'll be sending it out, so if you wanna listen to it for fun, you're welcome to.
All right, next, miscellaneous, so listed under miscellaneous, so plug, we still have 2 open seats on the planning board, so if there's anybody out there in the community that is interested, please submit an application.
They have a lot of fun.
Yes.
You can be part of shaping your community.
That's right, shaping the community.
And you don't complain on Facebook.
That's right. Anything else under miscellaneous, Angela?
Nope.
Okay, so that leaves adjournment, so if I can get a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're good? Thank you.